Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Vivian Light Codes. My name is Vivian, and I'm excited to be back because, damn, there's so much happening, so much shifting that's going on in these last couple weeks and months. I do want to come back and bring you a video about some important themes that have been coming up, and this may help you out or kind of give you clarity on what's going on because during this time, it's not easy, but it is kind of fun. So, first off, let's just touch on something really quick, which is about time. So, I don't know if you guys are feeling this, but this has been a super interesting thing that's come up for me within these past couple weeks. And even let's say like the beginning of the year, 2025 to now, the end of April, right? Today's April 25th, right? And it feels like time is flying by. Within these past couple months, and even in our day to day, I feel like the day is kind of ending right when it started. We don't even know where the time is going. The things that we set out to do, it's like at the end of the day, we don't even accomplish much, or it feels like we haven't accomplished much. And so the time is just passing on by super, super quickly. And if you guys are experiencing that as well, just realize that it's okay. Yeah, I mean, things are changing quickly. Right. So some of the things that has helped me to kind of ground during this time is really setting aside sacred time and space for me to kind of just be in silence and in peace and in my own energy. Right. Focusing on my own breath, focusing on grounding into my body and feeling my body, prioritizing time to be out in nature when I can, taking that walk, looking up at the clouds, at the sky, observing nature like the flowers and the leaves has been super grounding and has assisted me a lot during this like crazy time of transition and a lot of like external shifts. So it's important during this time of rapid change that we're centered and we can ground ourselves and not be swept up by our external circumstances or problems or situations that we're dealing with. So go ahead and do those things if you haven't, because they can make a world of a difference in how you move through your day, the emotions that you experience during your day to day. These things will really help to regulate your nervous system and help you stay grounded and centered as you do what you need to do during your day. But I do want to address something that is super, super important right now. And a lot of people may be going through this as well as myself, or I kind of just came through on the other side of it. So, reflecting back, I do want to give out this information if it's helpful for anybody. But during this time, a lot of people are in the transitional phase or the transitional step that I call. This is the step that you take to transition yourself out of the old and into the new. It's kind of like that gap, that bridge that connects it all. And realize that there are transitional steps, multiple transitional steps throughout your life because you're constantly evolving, you're constantly growing and expanding and growing, right? But this is a major one for a lot of people because at the end of 2024, there was a buildup of massive energy that shifted us from what we used to do that was no longer in alignment with us, but we continue to perpetuate and live out in our experience. And it pressured us into making that decision to step out, to change, to shift, and to move into the direction that's more in alignment with us, right? So whether that's leaving a relationship, whether that's leaving a job or somehow transitioning your role in the company or workspace that you're at, it could be moving houses, it could be environments, it could be diet, it could be so many things, but you know what it is for you, the things that was so hard for you to change before, suddenly you just felt this pressure to shift and change, right? That was at the end of 2024. And then at the beginning of 2025 was when things kind of just were, we were kind of like in the void, continuing to release those programmings, conditionings, and circumstances that no longer served us, right? And it was kind of like we were in the void of like the death and rebirth, where there was nothing happening. But at the same time, we were in that void of full potential of so many possibilities. And for many of us, we didn't know what was going to happen next. We didn't have a backup plan. We just followed the nudge to kind of take that leap of faith to transition or make that change, however that looks like for you, right? And so after the void, there were opportunities that were kind of blossoming, that were coming into your reality, whether that be kind of like a different job, a different friendship or relationship, whether you're talking to somebody else or somebody new. But these are kind of like the things that were kind of like blossoming when we started to let go of the old. And this is the transitional phase. I also call it the transitional phase because it's not something that we stay in for a long time. It's there to stabilize us and then move us to the next step. And then we get moved on to the next step. If you can imagine a river, and in order to get across the river, there are several stones or rocks or boulders that you're going to need to jump through to get to the other side. And so we can use work as an example, right? Your career, let's just use that for now. Where over here you were working in a company that you didn't feel fulfilled at, that didn't align with you, that didn't create the impact that you wanted to see in the world, but you stayed there because it was what you've always known. It was something that gave you a sense of security. And then what you really want to do is, let's say you want to start a healing business, which is on the other side. Your own company, your own business, working anywhere you want, making as much as you want, charging as much as you want, and having a schedule that fits with your preferred lifestyle, right? So these are totally two different things. So you might have left your old job and quit, and now you're in a transitional phase where you have the opportunity after the void, right, to work in a more aligned company and you can work remotely, right? So this is more in alignment with going towards your goal. Because now instead of working at a brick and mortar business or 9 to 5 where you have to go into the physical building, you're now working remotely online and you're doing it with a company that is also about healing and spirituality and health, right? The transitional step is important because first, it removed layers of programs, conditionings, and beliefs that held you where you were in your previous role, in your previous work, right? So many layers of it was being released and let go of. That's what we're talking about when we're releasing the old, the releasing of the conditionings, programmings, beliefs, and thoughts and self-belief that other people have projected onto us or that we have adopted ourselves. But this transitional step is also important because it took you a step closer to where you want to be. And it's a step of safety, a step of security. Because if you're working with a company that already has everything put together and all you come in is just work remotely, first, there is a sense of security because you're not relying on yourself. Second, you're instead of maybe working hourly like you used to, you're now working commission based, which means you have a better opportunity to make more money. Third, you're proving to yourself that this works. Online, remote work can create money, it can create a living, and there are people in the world who's doing it, and so can you, right? So the transitional step is important because it helps you to confirm the direction that you're moving into. It gives you realizations that what you thought was impossible is possible. Or, for example, maybe a relationship where you're talking to somebody who cares about you versus your old partner who didn't really respect you, didn't really care about what you have to say. But now there's somebody who's confirming to you that you do matter. What you want is possible. It's real. And then here's the not so fun part about a transitional step, which is it's not something that we want to stay in for a long time. And oftentimes, when we start to settle into this role, into this environment or space, we get this pulling and this inner nudge that it's time to shift. And that can be kind of scary because it's like we just started getting into the routine of things and now it's like we got to pack up our bags and leave again. And our family might judge us. We don't know what our employer's going to think. They might get super angry. So the transitional steps is also going to bring up a lot of fears and doubts Just like when you took that initial first step to leave your old job or relationship or whatever it is, right? You have to face so many fears and doubts. And now the step is going to bring up more of that and the different layers of it as well. So any fears, any doubts, any people pleasing tendencies, needing to meet other people's expectations of how you should be, what you should do, how you should act, how you should feel, how you should live your life, how you should work, how you should interact and socialize and treat other people. All of these conditionings will come up again. It's going to give us the opportunity to look at them. Are we going to choose the path of the mind or the heart? Because even if you choose the path of the mind, at some point in time, the inner call, the inner pull is going to come up again, and it's going to come up again and again until we take that next step. And either way, it's beautiful, no matter what you choose, because no matter what you choose, you're going to continue to learn and grow. And sometimes it's painful because when we're being asked to grow and expand, but we resist it and we choose to live in our fears, it can be painful. It can be really sad. And then one day, when we step out of that, we take that next step again, then we get thrown into the void again. And then new opportunities come up. And then we realize maybe it wasn't so scary after all. But that part of us that wants to be comfortable and safe will try to guide us. Those parts of us that feel that way just wants to be loved. They just want to be reassured and they just want to feel safe. And if you know how to regulate your emotions, if you have the tools and techniques to integrate these lower aspects of yourself, then it's going to make the process a whole lot easier. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting yourself basically the whole time until you finally can't stand it anymore. And then you just kind of have to make that shift, right? This video is also not for the people who feel like they are in the right place. If you feel like this is the perfect step for you, you're happy with where you're at, then that's amazing. This is for the people who know that they have that inner calling to change, but they're scared to. The transitional step is not somewhere we want to stay for a long time, like I said, because it's just going to help stabilize us for a little bit and then we continue to grow and expand, right? It's not something that is sustainable for us to do for a long time. And oftentimes there is no long-term fulfillment that comes with it. And guys, I'm not saying quit your job, leave the relationship, and let your life fall apart, and hopefully the universe will catch you, right? It comes with a sense of responsibility that we are taking responsibility for our life. If you feel like, yes, I want to quit right now, right here, then maybe follow the inner calling because that is what I did. I didn't have no backup plan. I didn't have anything. And when I made that choice, I got an opportunity to work with a company 2 days later, which I had mentioned in my other video. But things like that can happen, right? But I'm not saying that it's for everyone. And in fact, sometimes it's better to transition slowly instead of just like throwing everything up in the air and just hoping for the best. Only you know what is best for you. And if it means making slow changes to transition, then do so. If you need to do more inner work before you make that transition, then take care of yourself first. Do your processing, do your shadow work on healing your inner child, work on the parts of you that feel scared. And then you'll feel more confident and more courageous to take that next step. I also wanted to make this video with this theme in it because this could be your confirmation that you're ready for the next step, that the inner feeling that you have that things need to change is valid. And here's the thing. Your inner compass already knows what you want, what you need to do, right? You don't need this video to confirm to you anything. But if you're asking for signs, if you're asking for confirmation, then let this video be your confirmation that you are right, that the inner feeling that you're feeling is real and that you should act on it. And hopefully, this will help you to realize that you do have everything you need already within you to make a decision, right? Your inner compass is already guiding you, it's already telling you and showing you and pulling you to where you need to be, to do what you need to do. And really to fully trust yourself that you have what it takes to get you to where you need to be. So, guys, remember, listen to your intuition, listen to the inner guidance, It knows what you need to do next. It knows where you should be. It knows everything. You know everything. So it's time to trust yourself again. It's time to step into your own leadership, guide your own life, right? You don't need other people to guide you and tell you what to do. When we were younger, that's what we needed in order to survive. We need somebody to take care of us, to show us the way, to tell us when something might hurt us or might not. And we take that on as adults, continuously needing guidance from other people, continuously needing permission and acceptance. That's something that we can now give ourselves as full, capable adults, leading our own individual lives that obviously impact the collective as well. But as individuals, we are our own leaders. You have your own unique blueprint of how your life is. So do I. And so does everyone in our lives and everyone around the world. So, how can somebody else tell you what's best for you? Have you ever listened to somebody tell you what to do and you felt like you have no other choice but to listen to them and you feel unhappy, unfulfilled? That's what it's like when you listen to somebody else's guidance instead of your own. So, with that being said, it's time to take responsibility for our lives with listening to our heart, taking action, and doing what we are guided to do. Because when we choose to be conscious, we have full authority in our decisions, right? We're not going to sit and blame other people for why our life is the way it is. Because one thing for sure is if you just sit there and blame other people and other things, nothing in your life is going to change. But when we decide to be responsible, we step up and we lead ourselves. That's when we can create real change in our life. Right, guys? So the transitional step is not easy, but is a place for growth, is a place for realization, and is a place where we can continue to grow. So reframe it instead of being scared and fearful and uncertain about what's next. Be curious, be optimistic. Like, what is the potential? What is the next step? What could life bring? What could I create? What could life look like? The main thing about this step is to have fun. All right, guys. So the next theme that I do want to talk about that's also super important and prevalent, and it's been coming up a lot. A lot of people's gifts are starting to come online, whether it's healing, whether it's channeling, whether it's telepathy, and so much more. But what's really been kind of like the forefront of all of this happening is during spiritual routines or rituals that people are going through, including myself, is that we are remembering more of our multidimensional selves. We are remembering our parallel lives, the different gifts that we had in different lives or past lives, and the remembrance of these other lifetimes bring to us different gifts, abilities, activations, energies, wisdom, experiences, and so much more that we weren't aware of. So many of us are integrating different fragments of our soul, of our energy in different lifetimes. And what that means is we are starting to unify the parts of ourself that has been fragmented into wholeness again. With that brings a lot of energy, a lot of life force, a lot of support, and a lot of energies and frequencies that's going to really help us enhance the quality of our life in this current lifetime. So, for example, if you were in a high authority position as part of a royal family or lineage in a parallel life, if you can imagine integrating that frequency and energy into your life now, how do you think you will move differently, right? You're not going to act or feel like a victim anymore. You're going to realize how much potential, how much power, how much creative force you have behind you, right? So your whole life could literally change with just integrating one aspect of yourself. Some other things that also has been coming up is that during dream time, you are traveling and you are learning in different dimensions at different mystery schools. You may be channeling information, connecting with the higher aspects of yourselves, connecting with guides, connecting with your multidimensional selves. And when waking up, remember to write these down or record it somewhere so that you remember, because information is going to come to you during dream time. You may also have prophetic dreams as well. Like, for example, the night before I started channeling light language, I had a dream that I was channeling and I saw this multidimensional aspect of myself. And she was this blue frequency signing light language, like with her hands, and also speaking light language. And she had light language symbols like all over her body as well. And it was just super beautiful. And I remember waking up and just feeling so optimistic and happy and also uncertain because at that time I didn't channel light language. So I was like, ooh, I really hope like this is true. That next day, I was channeling light language for the first time. Later, I had a dream that I was channeling. I was connecting with multidimensional beings, connecting with my higher self, and channeling information that was going to help the collective, and even creating materials to help other people on their journey as well. So during this dream time, a lot of things could be happening. If you remember what they are, remember to write them down because they could be prophetic dreams. And they could also be dreams where you're learning and opening up to your gifts as well. So it's really important at this time. One more thing that I would like to address is it's super, super important that if you're working with energy, you know how to properly protect and ground yourself. Now more than ever, I'm really becoming aware of different entities that can interfere with our light work, right? There may be entities attached to people or in their space, in their home. And you really want to learn to clear that because these entities can manipulate us in the quantum from the quantum field. They can manipulate your emotions, your thoughts. And if they manipulate your thoughts, then like you could literally spiral out of control. You could be stuck in a rut and it'll take you months and weeks to even get out of it, right? But if there's light, there is dark, and that's just the reality of us being in a physical world in a third dimension, that there is duality. And it's important for us to be smart and intelligent when we're working in the energy world, when we're working in the quantum realm. But even as a person who is not into spirituality, it's practical to cleanse yourself, your space, so that you don't attract things that are of lower frequency. If people were aware of what is actually happening to them in the quantum realm, and they have the right tools and techniques on how to deal with it, their life could be totally different, right? But a lot of people are in denial of the spirit realm. They're in denial of dark entities or parasitic energies. And so they can go through their whole lifetime not knowing what even held them back, what prevented them from achieving their dreams and their goals. And it's sad, right? And these are just kind of like things that people can develop, skills that people can develop to become aware of these things and how to deal with it. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that will teach you how to clear your space and yourself. Some of like the more basic ones is to connect with the high frequencies of all that is, God source from above, and bringing it down into your crown chakra and just immersing your whole body in that frequency and connecting your grounding cord to Mother Earth and bringing up her energy and allowing it to circulate through your whole body. And sit in that energy and frequency for a couple minutes and allow it to just cleanse and clean you. Do the same thing for your home, for your space, to clear out lower density energies and frequencies and call on the violet flame from Saint Germain. Violet flames are great for transmuting, for cleansing and cleaning. And that is also what I often use as well around my aura and around my space. So those are just some of the techniques that you can just tap into now to keep yourself clean and your space clean. If you guys feel called to, I do energy healing sessions as well. I specifically work with Kundalini activations and light language transmissions. What happens in these sessions is essentially we go through healing blockages that is not in alignment with your blueprint, with your truth. And everyone has a unique frequency, their unique blueprint, a unique vibration to their soul, to who they truly are. And we allow this energy frequency to flow through their physical body, through your physical vessel. And this in turn also helps to release blockages and trauma and programmings and conditionings as well. If you guys are interested, I'll leave a link below. You guys can check it out below. And I do have a free light language psychic abilities activation for you in the link below. I honestly feel like everyone should tap into their psychic abilities, tap into their extrasensory perceptors so that they become aware of their own energy, their own space, and the energies around them. Your level of awareness correlates to the quality of your life. So if you feel called to work with me, amazing. But if you don't, then that's okay too. I would say give yourself some time and space to learn about this because it's a skill that everyone should have. Because then you'll realize that you are the creator of your life, that you can literally create anything. You can change anything in your life. Like the power is yours to hold. This is what it's about. This is about you remembering who you are. This is about you remembering your power. This is about you remembering that you are the creator of your life. Awesome, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I do hope you found it helpful. If you guys want to share your experiences below from the past couple months or weeks about your transitional step, or even if you've been kind of like tapping into your gifts and abilities, comment below. I'd love to hear about your stories and what you've been going through. And I look forward to connecting with you guys soon. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.